Everybody. I'm going to wait a little while to see if people show up, and then we'll get started. I've been told that people are often a few minutes late. I'm happy to be here. It's a sad day because of the violence in the world, but it's also a day of happiness and joy. And I just talked with somebody about how can we be in a world that has such disconnected people that are in so much pain that they have to inflict pain on so many, and judging them and getting angry and wailing and only creates more separation. My main thing is love expands, fear contracts. And when we're contracted and we're real small, we can't feel the love that's all around us. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'd like to start out with a meditation. I love doing guided meditations. And then if there's any questions over in the panel, I'll answer them. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about how we can relieve stress in our lives. You know, how can we watch the news of what happened and not feel anxious, not feel profoundly impacted? So for the guided meditation, my suggestion is just take a long, slow, deep breath. Close your eyes. And just really give yourself permission to feel your breath. Breathe in peace and love. Breathe out anything unlike peace and love. And each breath is a gift of life from your spirit. And so just allow yourself to embrace and accept that gift. And that gift is one of pure, unconditional love. So just breathe in that love. Breathe out anything unlike love. Really let go. Just imagine yourself settling back onto a fluffy white cloud. Just feel it kind of bounce it along in the wind, gently. And you can feel the warmth of the sun. And if you look over the edge of the cloud, you can see the shadow that your cloud creates. And it just feels so good, so peaceful, so right, so expansive. If you look around, you notice that, wow, there's other people in all the clouds. And sometimes the clouds come together and merge, and sometimes the wind moves them apart. And you can love. You can just allow yourself to expand and feel the love. The love that always surrounds you, that's always with you. And so you just breathe in acceptance and love. Breathe out any judgment, sense of separation, anything unlike love. What's that feel like? What does love feel like in your body? When you really allow yourself to expand and just feel loved, what's that feel like? And think of 3 or 4 things about yourself that you love. First time I did the exercise, I couldn't come up with anything, but I love my eyes, I love my hair, I love my body. I love my ability to love. I love the world. I love all the colors. I love where I live. I love the people I work with. I just love, 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 love. I love my animals. Currently I have 2 dogs and 3 cats and probably close to 100 chickens. One of my cats is fairly new to the family, and she's a character. And I just love watching the animals. Everybody lives in peace and harmony. So just imagine yourself settling back into the idea of living with peace and harmony. And take a deep breath and just slowly bring yourself back to present moment focus. Stress. The world is emotionally neutral. There's nothing that's right, nothing that's wrong, until we tell ourselves a story. The only thing that's real, I like to say, is the love. Everything else is an illusion. We tell ourselves a story and it creates fear. We tell ourselves another story, it creates love. We can tell ourselves a story about fear-based love, which is, I'll love you as long as you do this, but if you do that, I'll stop loving you. We can tell ourselves a story of love-based love, which is just love. Just love, love, love. And life is, and then we tell ourselves a story. The gift is we can always change our story anytime we want. And stress. A lot of people experience a great deal of stress. As I read my Facebook feed today, there was a lot of people that were just really, really, really upset about what was going on. And I can only imagine the people that were at that concert. It'd be very challenging to stay with a story of, oh, I'm safe, I'm at peace, And yet, one of the stories I tell very frequently is one time when I was in Egypt, I took a group of people to go meditate between the paws of the Sphinx. Now, supposedly that's a big con, but I did, I literally, that's what we did. And as we went, I noticed we went through a crowd of people, but I didn't think that much of it. And I noticed when we came back quite a few hours later, the road was covered with rubble. I again didn't think anything of it. And the next morning when I went to breakfast, I found out that there'd been a riot in front of our hotel and several people had been killed. So literally, we went through a riot where people were getting killed and we felt totally safe because our story was we were going to meditate between the paws of the Sphinx. I've had lots of magical experiences in my life where I could have told myself a story that was really scary and really horrible, or I could change my story. And my childhood, if you would have talked to me 30 years ago, I would have told you that it was very abusive and there was no love and blah, 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 blah. And today I look back at my childhood and yeah, there was some peculiar times, and my parents were interesting at times. But it was an incredible adventure. And it taught me how to change my mind. And basically, if you want to be happy, that's all you have to do. You don't have to change anything out there. You just have to change your mind. And if you're experiencing stress, breathe. My dog just ran across the floor and I was wondering why. Our breath, like I said earlier, each breath is a gift of life from our spirit. So when you're feeling stressed, you're actually disconnecting yourself from your spirit. So just breathe. Gratitude. Gratitude is a wonderful way to overcome stress. Just be grateful for what is. And just be really, really grateful. And hi, Beth. Thanks for all the little hearts across the bottom. Notice the story that you tell yourself that creates feeling stressed. Tell yourself a different story. When we went to meditate between the paws of the Sphinx, it was a very interesting experience. I felt like I was doing some kind of a drug deal. Literally, and they have dollars in Egypt too. And you know, somebody would come up and say, give me another $50, give me another $50, give me another. And so I kept passing out $50. And like I said, you know, going to meditate between the paws of the Sphinx was a big scam, but not for us. And I was amazed because when we got there, this big tall wall that we had to climb up. And after we climbed up the wall, we were there in front of the Sphinx, and I had no idea that the paws were really, really, really tall. I don't know, I'm not great at estimating distances, but I'd say probably 10 feet tall. And so when we got between the paws of the Sphinx, it was like we were in this canyon. And it was just amazing standing there. And I've never seen anything written about it, but on the chest plate of the Sphinx, there was this kind of greenish stone. I mean, it was at night, so I'm not sure on the color, and it was divided in the middle, and there was hieroglyphics, and there were mirror images of each other on either side. I have no idea what they said, but it was just awesome. And stress, you know, I could create stress for myself or not. So not, you know, that would be my suggestion. And I was going to talk a little bit about forest bathing. I don't even know how I ran across the term, but one of the gifts of living here, and one of the gifts when people come to retreats here, is I've cut pathways through what we call the jungle. And so I'm walking along, and at one point I had a bulldozer come and do some clearing, and he knocked down part of my jungle. And so I planted a whole bunch of eureka palms and bamboo. So part of the path, you go through the bamboo and stuff. And it's just wonderful. And I just walk along mindfully, and I just enjoy it. And there's a guy at the farmer's market that makes cement statues. And so I have Buddhas and Marys and Kuan Yins, and I have all different, you know, Ganesh, and I have them tucked in the forest. And so you're walking along, and if you pay attention, you can see them. And today was really funny. I brought my little white dog with me, and she's come with me before. And we got to the point where the bamboo is, and there's a Buddha sitting cross-legged, and he's got his hands out. And for some reason, it was interesting, she noticed Buddha, and she decided to be afraid of Buddha. And it was really funny to watch her. I mean, she just saw Buddha, and she backed up, and then she went forward, and she backed up. And it was really cute to watch her be concerned about Buddha. We continued on up to the pond, and last time we went to the pond, like I said, she's white, and one whole side of the pond is kind of swampy, and she went romping through there. So by the time she got back to me, she was mud up to her chest. So we wound up having to do a bath. So today I made her sit on the bench next to me, and then we went back down, and Buddha was still sitting there, same Buddha, different direction, and I actually called her over to Buddha. No stress, no muss, no problems. So anyway, forest bathing. I ran across the term forest bathing, and it was, I think it, as I recall, comes from Japan. And it's the idea of walking mindfully through a forest and allowing the energy of the forest to clean your spirit. So it's really quite awesome, I think. And I've done it for years and years. And now when I walk through my jungle, I think, oh, I'm forest bathing. And so I invite you, come. You know, I just was working on my website this morning, and I have 3 upcoming retreats, one in November and another one in February and then another one in June. And then I do private retreats, but you can come and you can forest bathe. So, and it's just awesome, you know, just, it is, you know, and I just love the quiet. And I also feed, we have cardinals. They're not an indigenous bird, but somebody brought cardinals at one point. So we have a whole lot of cardinals, and I love the way the cardinals sing. And I feed them up by my chicken coop. And if I don't feed them, they let me know. And when I do feed them, they let me know. And I just love listening to their song. And I was talking to somebody the other day about dawn, and how, to me, dawn is just such an amazing, magical time of day. And I always get up before dawn, and I have, you know, I meditate and I journal and I do a bunch of things. And listening to the birds. And so when I do my forest bathing going up to my pond, I get to listen to the birds and I get to listen to the wind. And I love the wind in the bamboo. It's kind of like a big old wind chime. So giving yourself the gift of whatever, and really, come visit me. I was just noticing who was on the comment section, and this one woman that came here a couple of years ago from Latvia made a video, and she took pictures of all the flowers on my property, and she put it together with music, and it's beautiful. When I looked at it, it was like, wow, I didn't realize I had that many flowers on my property. I mean, I've planted them all, but I just didn't realize it was quite that many. So, okay, so I've got a bunch of people here. If anybody's got a question, just type it out, and I'll read it and answer it to the best of my ability. And maybe I won't, But this is my first Facebook Live, and I love doing videos. It certainly was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And it's something I think I'd like to do on a regular basis. So if you enjoy it, let me know. And if you don't enjoy it, I guess you can let me know. And if you really enjoyed it, tell your friends and get them all to come. So anybody got questions? How about you, Ellen? I see you frequently on my Facebook page. You got a question? Or how about Kristen? No? No. Okay. Well, we're questionless. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, okay, she does. How can I find out what my guardian's angel name is? Ask them. Real simple. Just ask them. We make life so much harder than it needs to be. We can just, and then trust the answer that we get. And when I wrote the book on angels, it was really interesting because when they were interviewing me about writing the book, the editor was saying, angels have colors and they have this and they have that. And to be honest, I didn't really know that much about angels. And so I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. And I knew that, I could connect with. And of all the books I wrote, writing the angels, saints, and deities was the most fascinating because they asked me if I could do it in a lot shorter time than I originally had. I think I had like 6 months, and they wanted to know if I could finish it in a month. And I said, oh, sure. And then after I got off the phone, it was like, what did you just say? So how I wrote the book actually was I made a file for each one of the angels, saints, and deities. And then I would interview them. I would open up the file and I'd interview them. I'd ask them some questions, and then I'd write down whatever I got. And to me, the most fascinating thing was the saints, because I was not raised Catholic, and I knew about saints, but not that much. And my perception at that point of saints was, they suffered a lot. And so, and there was this one woman, I don't remember which saint she was, but I opened her file first thing in the morning, and I had done some research about their story. And I opened and I read her story. It was like really first thing in the morning. I had my coffee yet. And I said to her, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you right now. I'll talk to you later. And I went on about talking to somebody else. And it was interesting because when I did talk to her, to say that she was tortured would be a profound understatement. And one of the things that she communicated to me very clearly was that she didn't suffer. That she was so connected with her spirit that when they were doing all these nasty things to her body, the only thing she had was love and compassion for her captors. So, if she could do it, we can do it too. So anyway, I really enjoyed talking to all the saints because I got to find out all this stuff. And I enjoyed talking to the angels and the deities too. But, a lot of times when people are really interested in the angels, they forget that angels can help us, but we still got to do the work. I can ask the angels to bring, Facebook Live like this. I can ask the angels to invite people and have them show up, but I still got to do the first Facebook Live, and angels are, you're an angel. We're all angels, you know, and so giving yourself permission to be happy. You know, happiness is not something that comes from out there. It's totally dependent on what we tell ourselves about what's out there. Like I said, you know, 30 some years ago, I had a horrible childhood. Now I had a wonderful childhood. You know, same childhood, same me, different story. So telling yourself different stories. You know, Ellen, I know that you've struggled. I've seen your posts and you know, some of your questions. Let your life be easy. You know, let it be enjoyable. Allow all the gifts that you so deserve into your life, easily and effortless. One of my mantras these days is easy and effortless. Yeah, and we can make things so hard and complicated if we want. You know, I have started doing all my own web updates. And at first it was really a struggle. And now I kind of enjoy it, you know, and I was looking through one of the web pages I'd created and I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. You know, and it's not a big deal when I do it now. And I've found some other shortcuts that make it even easier. And the more I allow it to be easy and effortless, I can allow it to be easy and effortless and enjoyable. So that's true of life. So. Hi, Mary Helen. I also see you a lot on in my reality. Nice to be in the same time-space continuum, so to speak. So. Hi, Beth. Yeah, I'm glad you like the encyclopedia of angels. No. Okay, questions, anybody? No? No. I am going to do this. Alan, you said you have to do this again. I will. I'm going to do a Facebook Live twice a week, and just, you know, it's time for me to let more people know what I do. And one of the things I decided to start doing about a year ago was retreats at my house, and they're just awesome, you know, because first of all, I think Hawaii is awesome, and you know, if you get a chance, go on my website and there's a place, an easy way to get there on the top that says retreats. Click on that and then go to any of the, I don't know, the November retreat for sure. And if you scroll down towards the bottom, like I said, there's this beautiful video, all pictures taken on my property. It's gorgeous. And way at the bottom, there's a video that Vitus, one of the participants, made. And it's just different images of you know, the retreat stuff. So, you know, check it out. So anyway, I've decided that it's time for me to let more people know what I do and invite them to participate. And one of the ways I'm going to do this is Facebook Live. You know, I look at the world and I think the more love. Hi, Donna. She was there at one of the retreats I'm talking about. And I know she had a really good time. She came with Penny and they were both students of mine many years ago. So it was really fun to see them again. And I just got 42 new chicks. And okay, I want to tell everyone and teach them. Okay, I'm reading the comments and trying to stay focused at the same time. Teach about angelic energy, Beth. And you know, we're all angels. We're all angels in physical bodies, you know, and the more we connect with our angelic self, the more we can share it with other people. When I was a kid, I used to get pixie haircuts, and my hair was real short. And actually, this is the first time I've had my hair long since the 60s, which when I say that, you know, I mean, I just had my 68th birthday, and it was awesome. And there was something about 68 that just kind of made me go, oh, 68, ain't that awesome? So, and Donna, I would love to have you come back again. It was just so neat seeing you and Penny. And you can come without Penny too, or you can bring somebody else, you know. Teaching about love. You know, love, my biggest thing is love expands, fear contracts. If you want your life to be more expansive, love more. If you want your life to not be so awesome, be fearful and judgmental and contract a lot. Ellen, just let it be easy. Don't question. She's asking me how she can know the inner voice. If the inner voice helps you to expand, then it's love. If it makes you fear-based, then don't listen to that. You know, really giving yourself permission to, depending on the story, you have an experience. When I tell myself story like easy and effortless and loving and expansive, I have one experience. When I tell myself, oh, it's hard, and I used to drive myself crazy trying to figure out, okay, now is this right or is that wrong? And literally I got to the point where I'd flip a coin. And if it came up heads and I was like, yes, then okay. And if it came up heads and I wanted to go 2 out of 3, then I knew that tails was what I wanted to choose. So, you know, letting it be easy, flip coins. You know, Miguel just showed up. Hi, Miguel. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can really, 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 really be easy. You know, and you figure something like, you know, the experience in Las Vegas. Isn't it amazing that somebody could be so disconnected that their idea was, let me shoot as many people as possible? You know, that's a fear-based choice. And you think about all the thousands of people that were down there, you know, some people were hurt, some people were killed. And I remember when 9/11 happened, I had this, Marshall Thurber was a cartoonist, and I don't remember which TV show it was, but they used to do illustrations of his things. And I used to get a charge out of them. But I had this Marshall Thurber type image after 9/11 of all the people that died showing up at the pearly gates and the terrorists showing up at the pearly gates and kind of going, whoa, that was quite a ride. And, you know, it's kind of like from that perspective, we see things very differently. I don't think there was a whole lot of virgins there waiting for the terrorists. And the people that transition, you know, my Hawaiian teacher used to call it changing address. And they just changed address, you know, and love, 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 love. You know, let yourself love. I was talking to somebody earlier and we were talking about random acts of kindness. And I was saying how I used to like to put quarters in the meters after, you know, especially if there was a meter maid coming. And I had a meter maid tell me one time that that's illegal. You can't fill somebody else's meter up. And I was like, well, okay. But doing random acts, you know, and we were talking about that. And she said, well, we don't have any meters here. And I said, well, the other thing I liked doing was taking dollar bills and sticking them on people's windshields and then just kind of hanging around to see what they do. I mean, some people would drive off with the dollar bill on their windshield, and some people would go and get the dollar and they'd look around to see who did that, you know, and everybody has different reaction. You know, so giving yourself permission to do random acts of kindness when you're standing in line at a coffee shop, you know, buy coffee for the next few people. Random acts of kindness makes my life better because I enjoy doing them, and I would assume it improves the quality of other people's lives too. So, thanks. I think my hair looks long, nice long too. I went and got a haircut the other day, and my hairdresser was like, well, how much longer are you going to let it get? Because I used to have it very, very short. And I said, to tell you the truth, I don't know. At some point, I have a feeling that I'll either say enough or I'll get it all cut off again or whatever. But so, any questions before I decide to take my loving self downstairs and get some iced tea because it's very warm up here? No? Thanks for all the compliments. And nice to see you all. This was fun. I think I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. And why don't we close with just a little meditation? So just close your eyes and just imagine yourself standing in the center of a circle. And the circle is all people that are just standing there with their hands up, sending you love. Quite a few of them are angels. And just allow yourself to stand in the center of that circle and just allow yourself to accept all that love. Just let it in. And the love comes up through your feet, down through your head, and from all around you. And you're just surrounded with love, surrounded by angels, and you're absolutely perfect just the way you are. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And hopefully I'll see you next time, and you'll bring friends and bring questions. So take good care and have an absolutely awesome rest of your Monday. Aloha.